The opening scene of Jeepers Creepers Reborn echoes the old classic style where we see a couple driving on the highway like the Jenner siblings of the 2011 classic. Their radio malfunctions and starts playing the Jeepers Creepers song, giving the audience an idea of what is to come. The film's prologue is somewhat of a tribute to the 2011 classic, as the scenes are exactly the same. The old couple notices an odd-looking truck with a "Beating You" sign on the nameplate. The classic chase sequence ensues, and the couple is able to outrun the truck at first, but we all know it's not that simple, as the truck appears again and rams the car out of the road. Ronald gets out of the car and pulls out his diary to note down the description of the truck and decides to call the cops. Marie is terrified of the accident and begs Ronald to get the hell out of there. Ronald wins the argument and decides to drive to the nearest gas station to phone the cops. On their way to the gas station, Ronald encounters the same truck and a weird guy covered in a trench coat who tosses something that resembles a human wrapped in a rug down the open sheet. The idea that a human could be wrapped in a rug sends shivers down Ronald's spine. After the trenchcoat guy leaves, Ronald and Marie decide to check the sheet, and judging by Marie's screams, it's obvious what was down there. At first, it appeared that the story would continue, but the sequence is soon disclosed to be some kind of fictional macabre mystery clip being watched by a bus full of college students. The creeper comes back every 23rd summer for 23 days. The scene shifts and introduces us to a young couple, Chase and Lane, off to some horror festive in Louisiana. Lane had no intention of attending the event but was dragged by her horror fanboy boyfriend. They drive through the same country road depicted earlier in the movies and discuss the urban legend. Lane is a scientist and demands proof for everything, whereas her boyfriend tries to convince her that the stories are real. According to the legend, the creeper comes back to life every 23rd summer and kills for 23 straight days, then disappears. Later, we get our first glimpse of the creeper, who has just awakened from his long slumber and is hungry for blood. Sam, a young boy in his 20s, becomes the creeper's first victim as the creature begins his killing spree. Lane and Chase stop at a voodoo shop and buy an antique map. Lane accidentally touches the shop owner and experiences a strange vision but keeps it a secret. Lane hasn't told Chase that she's pregnant. As the duo leaves to check into the hotel, the lady phones somebody, informing them that she has a tree bearing fruit while rubbing the belly of a weird voodoo doll. Back in the hotel, while the couple was trying out cosplay outfits to wear in the event, Lane gets scared to death by a white raven. The action turns to the creeper, who is uncovering his menacing vehicle. Chase, who is with Lane, can't contain his enthusiasm as they enter the gathering. His excitement is, however, short-lived as a man with an arrow stuck in his chest comes screaming and falls dead on the floor, only to wake up afterwards to collect his applause. The man then walks into the jungle to light up a cigarette and is attacked and killed for real by the creeper. The scene shifts, and we see the same figure eavesdropping on Lane and Chase. The couple stops at a Target game and picks up a shuriken, saying she has never seen a shuriken like this. We are informed by the locals that every shuriken is unique and inspired by the creeper. The locals also urge Lane and Chase to check out the creeper draw. Lane again experiences a creepy vision in which she is naked and surrounded by scores of men, with a circle marked on her forehead. Lane wins the creeper draw and gets a chance to spend the whole day at the creeper-themed escape room. Lane and Chase go backstage, where they meet Jamie, Carrie, Stu, and Michael will be joining them on their trip. The group sees a creeper-looking figure but dismisses their assertion, believing it to be a cosplayer. The creeper is seen casting a last glance over them before he splits them and murders them one by one. Michael becomes the creeper's first victim, and his camera can be seen to record while he's being killed. After Michael, the creeper turns his attention to Lane. Others find Michael's corpse and soon realize that the creeper himself is hunting them. Lainey wakes up and finds herself looking at the creeper who stabbed her in the stomach, which made her let out a blood-curdling scream. On the other hand, the group comes across a house only to get locked in. The house serves as a hotspot for a cult that worships Creeper and wants him to be reborn as an immortal. The woman from the shop earlier is also part of this cult, along with a mysterious man dressed in a white blazer. Everyone starts blaming Stu for their misfortune. Stu informs everyone that Lady Manila hired him to bring them here for a surprise. Chase pressures Stu to open the gate, forcing the latter to pull out his pistol and shoot a warning shot. The noise catches Creeper's attention, and he pulls the knife out of Lane's belly and heads toward the house to get the best of the group. Suddenly, the door pounds and the group hurriedly makes it upstairs to hide, only to find a dismembered body hanging from above. The Creeper enters the room and is shot by Stu repeatedly. The wounds leave Creeper's one hand useless, prompting the monster to rip it out of his shoulder entirely. The Creeper then regenerates his hand after ripping and devouring Sam's hand. On the other hand, Lane finally manages to break free and salvages some shuriken lying on the table. Carrie, unfortunately, gets separated from the group and barely manages to survive Creeper's attacks. Lane and Carrie unite with the groups, and Lane informs them that it's her that the Creeper wants. The group decides to stay together and realizes the only way to save themselves is to kill the Creeper. The Creeper attacks and kills Carrie. The rest of the group secures themselves in a room where Lane undergoes another vision where she is surrounded by multiple hooded figures. The Creeper drags Carrie's corpse, rips the hair off her scalp, and devours her brain. Lane finally admits she's pregnant, and the Creeper wants her child. The group finds evidence that points out that the stories are real and that the Creeper is indeed hunting them. The scene shifts, and we see the group arming themselves with whatever they can find to take a final stand. The struggle ensues, in which the Creeper kills Jamie, and Lane distracts the monster by willingly offering herself and her unborn child, ultimately piercing both his eyes with the shuriken. Meanwhile, Chase and Stu climb to the mansion's top and throw a giant spear at the Creeper, piercing his mouth. The swarms of ravens appear and start attacking the duo. Stu, while defending himself, loses his balance and falls to his death, but Lane and Chase survive and alert the authorities. Jeepers Creepers Reborn ends with Lane's vision, and we see Creeper being resurrected somewhere far away, suggesting his return in the next installment of the film.